Our story today begins in a city full of adventures and many problems. We see two detectives, Matt and Hank, in a boat in the middle of the lake. Matt is putting on his diving gear and getting ready to go into the water, all to make sure the lake is completely safe. He's preparing it because a school trip is coming to visit the area tomorrow, and he needs to make sure the children are safe. But at the same time, Hank is worried and warns him because he doesn't want him to go underwater. He tells him that many people mysteriously disappear in this lake. Strangely, Matt doesn't pay attention at all. He thinks the most dangerous thing in the lake is the crocodiles, and that he can protect himself from them with the weapon he has. Without thinking, he jumps into the water. Meanwhile, Hank remains seated. He's waiting, listening to the radio, eating calmly, and then starts swimming for long distances. He sees around him turtles and different kinds of fish, thoroughly enjoying the natural scenery. Suddenly, a creature appears in front of him. It's enormous and attacks him with all its might. He has no chance to defend himself, so he starts screaming and calling for help from Hank. But unfortunately, Hank can't hear anything because of the radio he's listening to. By chance, while looking around, he sees a noise in the water and is shocked when he reaches the surface. A terrifying creature pulls him away. He struggles to catch it and tries to pull it back, but unfortunately, his condition is very bad, and half of his body is brutally torn apart. This makes Hank even more nervous, and he makes sure there aren't any crocodiles. He can do that, and indeed, there are strange creatures in the lake, just like he said. He immediately informs the authorities of everything that happened and asks for their help. Within a few hours, they open an investigation into the matter to find out what happened. Then we go to a completely different place and see a group of scientists working inside the National Museum, including a very clever scientist named May. The director, Kevin, asks to speak with her urgently, and by chance, while on her way, she meets her friend Kay, who is a scientist specializing in dinosaur fossils. She finds Kay very nervous and scared after discovering a terrifying truth. That May is cheating on her with her boyfriend, Kevin. And of course, May finds herself facing a fait accompli, realizing she's already been exposed, so she tries to defend herself in any way possible. She sees that she and Kevin have loved each other for years, long before Kylie even came along, and that the final decision rests with Kevin, who gets to choose who to continue with. This shocks Kylie even more, and she's surprised by the amount of bluntness May is expressing. She remains silent, unsure of what to say. Meanwhile, an officer named Jack arrives at the scene of the accident at the lake and tries to comfort Hank and understand what happened. He wants to know the details of what happened and the cause of his friend's death. Jack's first suspicion is that an alligator might be responsible, and he's even more surprised when Hank assures him that no crocodile appeared before them and that the matter is much bigger than that. He tells him that he saw a large creature, and as soon as he came to, he sees the body and understands exactly what Hank means. He is shocked by the body in front of him. It was brutally murdered, something he has never seen before in his life. He tries to comprehend what kind of creature could do all this. We return to Kylie, who is working in her office until Kevin enters to talk to her. Of course, she refuses to listen to anything he has to say and asks him to leave. In the end, he asks her to listen to him because he is there for urgent work. He shows her a very large tooth that he found lying near the lake, and it appears that this tooth is related to a very ancient dinosaur. And of course, they're surprised how he's still alive, and Kevin asks Kylie to travel there with her team because she needs to investigate the matter as quickly as possible and get to the truth. Kylie is very surprised that he's asking her to do something like this because she only works in the lab and has never gone to any location outside. When she finds out that Mia is going with her and agrees to this decision, she has to agree too in the end so as not to be less than heard if there's something wrong. So they gather their equipment and go there on a private plane. Officer Hank meets them and takes Kylie to see a body. She's shocked, of course, when she sees the body and its appearance and sees the traces. The fangs on its body confirm that it's a very large and predatory dinosaur, and usually it lives in water. The first thing you think about is how a creature like this managed to protect itself from death and live for millions of years without anyone documenting its existence. You're certain that natural factors and changes made it even more predatory and dangerous than before, and every time you look at the carcass, You're more shocked by its terrifying appearance, and strange details make her try to ask Hank about everything related to the area to learn more about the lake. By chance, she learns from him that an elderly couple lives in a house very close to the lake, and it's quite possible they have more information. Because of this, Kylie decides to go there herself and asks Hank to help her unload her equipment. She's shocked when she sees very powerful weapons with him, and she tries to understand why he brought them. Of course, he reassures her and explains that it's only for their safety. At that moment, Jack arrives and Hank introduces them to each other, telling her that this is the officer in charge of the case. Jack speaks to her frankly and tells her that this is an operation. It's very dangerous, and her life could be in danger. Despite all this, Kylie is determined to continue, especially after learning all this information. She's curious to know everything about this strange creature and warns Jack to follow all the rules and never act on her own. Jack is very impressed with her and her personality because she's confident, and he agrees to let her join him on this trip. After a while, she comes to talk to them. One of the locals warns them, saying that there's a huge, terrifying monster living in this lake, and anyone who gets close to it will be killed without any thought. Of course, Hank yells at her and tells her to leave and not spread unnecessary rumors because it will scare people. The empty boat eventually takes their boat and goes to the house of the people who live by the lake. The woman welcomes them warmly and receives them well. When they ask her about her husband, she tells them that he died a few years ago because he was very sick and tired, and he suffered from insomnia all the time. Unfortunately, he eventually committed suicide. Strangely, none of them believe her. They feel that something is wrong. After they get all the information she knows, they get on the boat and head towards the lake. They are relaxed so far because none of them have seen anything. As soon as Kylie learns that they will be sleeping inside the tent, she becomes more worried because she has no experience with something like this and has never. She slept in a tent like before and tried to convince them to stay in a hotel and come back. The next day is completely normal, and by chance, Hank notices that there are a lot of dead fish on the surface of the water. He starts pulling them into the boat, and unfortunately, one of them accidentally falls on Kylie. Startled, she gets very upset and slaps him in the face. She also argues with Jack and takes out all the tension on them. As soon as they get back to the shore, Jack takes them to the campsite, which upsets her even more, and she treats him badly. Suddenly, they see a plane coming towards them, and she realizes that the plane belongs to the lab where she works. She is even more shocked when she sees the scientist Victor. And this is because he is very well known and famous, specializing in exploring ancient and extinct types of mythical creatures that everyone is talking about. He starts introducing himself and tells them that the government has assigned him this mission. Strangely, he doesn't speak to Kylie at all and ignores her. It seems that there are old disagreements between them, and Jack tries to find out his exact opinion on everything that is happening. Hector begins to explain to them that there is a mythical creature hidden inside the lake, and they must come up with a specific plan to be able to bring it out of the depths of the lake. At this time, Kylie is very upset and feels that he has taken her place and that no one cares about her anymore. After a few hours, they gather all their equipment and divide into two groups and enter the lake is open, and Kylie and Hank stay in the same boat, while Jack and Hector are in the other boat. Hector pulls out a strange device that can measure the frequencies and movements happening around them underwater. He explains that the more dangerous and older the creature, the deeper it will live, and that's why it will be very difficult for them to bring it to the surface. He sees that they will have to exert a great deal of effort to do so. Suddenly, while they are talking, the water starts moving around them. Hector acts very calmly, thinking that there are fish moving in the water, but nothing more, until the boat Kylie is in shakes very violently and eventually capsizes. They both fall into the water and exert a great deal of effort to get the boat back on its feet. They quickly get out of the water, and as soon as they return to the shore, Kylie calls the lab and complains, telling them she urgently needs help, because she can't work alone in a situation like this, and she's very surprised that Hector is having a party at the campsite, and that there's a huge amount of money involved since he's a rich man with money. Hank is even more shocked when he sees two officers digging in the ground and learns from them that Hector ordered them to do this. He'll give them a very large sum of money in return. He goes to Hector to find out why he's acting this way and learns from him that these mythical creatures are affected by the vibrations that are present in the ground and are attracted to them. That's why he's making a commotion. Maybe he can attract the creature to their location easily. He's sure that his plan will succeed and that the creature will definitely appear very soon. Of course, Hank can't believe this nonsense and tries to control himself. He's as nervous as he can and runs to the end. Meanwhile, Kylie sits down and talks to Jack, telling him about her childhood days and how she always used to camp in the woods with her grandfather and enjoy her time very much. She offers to take him to a certain place near the lake, and of course, he refuses because he doesn't want to put her life in danger, especially since it's nighttime, which makes her more and more upset. She feels constantly controlled by them and can't work as she pleases. She confesses everything that she's feeling, and that's bothering her. She tells him about Kevin and May and what they did to her, and how they sent her there specifically to get rid of her. They get closer there, and Jack is affected. He tells her story and suggests she quit the job altogether, believing it's best for her and her mental well-being. But she refuses, determined to complete the mission and prove herself far more skilled than them. A few hours later, Hank wakes up startled. He hears strange noises outside, grabs his weapon, and begins searching. He's shocked to find what he sees. They are terrified of each other, to the point that Hank screams and calls for his friends. When they all gather, he explains that he was setting traps among the trees to capture the creature quickly. He manages to convince them of his plan. At this point, Hank and everyone with him realize that Hector is insane and could endanger their lives. They're all in danger, and the only one who trusts him is Kylie, because she knows how smart he is. He's very skilled in his research and science, and he knows exactly what he's doing. Suddenly, while they're talking, Hank falls into one of these traps and starts screaming in pain. They all rush to help him. The next morning, they take their equipment and return to the lake with a number larger than the officers. At this time, Hector decides to go underwater to determine exactly what kind of creature they're looking for and know how to handle it properly. They put on their diving suits and go underwater, and Hank stays with Kylie and the rest of the team. They lower a device that emits specific frequencies underwater to attract predators, hoping the creature will be affected. Of course, Hank isn't reassured at all and sees what they're doing as extremely dangerous because his friend died the same way. He doesn't understand why Jack and Hector are risking their lives like this. Meanwhile, Kylie tries to calm him down, assuring him that Hector has extensive experience and that they will return safely in at that moment. They both see many dead animal carcasses and huge fish underwater. They realize that a creature much bigger than them is attacking them and feeding on all the marine life in the water. They are surprised that the creature hasn't appeared yet. There's no sign of it. At that moment, Kylie and Hank sense something is wrong. The boat starts to be pulled with great force, and it falls over. Kylie is in the water, and everyone is trying to help her. As soon as Jack and Hector realize what's happening, they quickly return to the surface. After they all get into the boat, they use the device underneath. The water starts making a noise, which is very unnerving for them. Before they can move, a huge creature appears and attacks one of them, biting. The creature then disappears underwater. None of them manage to catch it or even harm it. Of course, they are all shocked by what happened and return to the beach quickly. They call for an ambulance, none of them comprehending everything that happened and that they were about to die in a few seconds. The most shocked is Kylie after confirming that there really was a mythical creature and that she saw it with her own eyes. She's surprised by its appearance because it's the first time she's seen a dinosaur or a creature like that. Hank and Hector have a huge fight, blaming each other for everything that happened and for the death of their friends. He's shocked that Hector is still determined to capture the creature by any means necessary and doesn't care about anything that happened. Of course, the fight between them escalates, and before Hank can hit Jack, he intervenes and breaks up the fight. In the end, Hank falls into another trap and gets hung from the tree by his feet. And of course, all of this is because of Hector and his antics. As soon as they untie him, he grabs a wooden stick and starts chasing Hector with it. The situation escalates between them, and the fight gets bigger. Just as Jack tries to separate them, a huge bear appears in front of them and starts making terrifying noises. Before it can harm them or get close, an alligator emerges from the water. They are shocked that it is so huge and unnatural. It pulls the bear under and disappears completely. It seems to have finished off the bear in seconds. This leaves them standing there in shock, unable to believe that it actually happened because there is no alligator that huge. After things calm down, they return to the camp. A second later, Kylie and Hector start working together, analyzing the creature they just saw. They're even more surprised, because its structure doesn't match any known type of crocodile. Hector wonders how such a creature could have survived for so many years, hidden from human eyes. Despite the danger surrounding them, he's focused solely on capturing the creature, studying it more, and completing his research. He decides to return to the same spot the next morning to continue his investigation. Meanwhile, Kylie tries to help Jack by treating his wound and giving him some first aid. This brings them closer, and it's clear they like each other. Later, the next morning they prepare and venture deep into the forest together, trying to observe the creature from afar and locate it. At the same time, Hector boards a helicopter with his assistant, attempting to pinpoint the creature's location from a distance. By chance, while searching, they find enormous footprints on the ground. They are certain these aren't those of an ordinary animal. As they venture further into the heart of the forest, they discover human bones scattered on the ground. They become convinced that this creature has killed many people before and poses a threat to the entire world. While they are discussing this, they see the same old woman who lived nearby. From the lake, they start watching her with their binoculars and are shocked to find her throwing a large cow to the same creature they are looking for. She stands and watches as it eats it brutally. None of them can believe what happened, and they immediately confront her about everything she has done. Hank is very angry with her and accuses her of being a liar and playing them. When they press her with words, she confesses that she has been helping this creature for many years and even feeds it herself. It is the same creature that killed her husband some time ago. She confesses that she does this to protect herself from death and avoid a fate like her husband's, where she too dies at his hands. In the end, Hank decides to lock her in the house and place her under guard until the investigation is fully completed and he decides how to deal with her. Of course, after seeing the creature and its terrifying appearance, they know that it's difficult to catch and that their lives are all in danger. At the same time, Hector puts on his diving suit and insists on diving to another location to search for the creature. His assistant tries to beg him not to, but unfortunately, he ignores everything and does what he wants. Therefore, the assistant tries to quickly inform the police and asks them to come to their location. And at that moment, Hector is looking far away and throwing a certain type of spray into the water to attract the creature. A few minutes later, the monster appears in front of him, waiting for the right moment to attack. Hector is shocked by its enormous size and is very attracted to it. So startled is he that he remains frozen in place, unable to move. Luckily for him, the monster doesn't attack him immediately. He takes advantage of the opportunity, recovers, and tries to escape before it's too late. He runs quickly back to the plane. As soon as he gets in and prepares to take off, the monster unfortunately attacks them, grabs the plane tightly, and begins to pull it down. The water is barely afloat, so he tries. Hector shoots it and saves the plane just in time because the monster gets nervous and runs away quickly, and he returns. Hector and his assistant reach safety with great difficulty and sit down to tell them everything that happened in detail. Of course, Jack gets very upset and angry with him because he broke the rules and acted on his own. Hector is affected by his words and goes to sit alone in a corner, very upset. Kylie goes to talk to him calmly. She tries to convince him not to take risks like that again and not to go into the water alone. She is surprised when she tells him that the creature will finish them all off and won't let them get out of there easily. They are all shocked when Jake comes and tells them that the mission is over and that the army will take over. Something happened after that, and he asked them all to withdraw. Also, the army is determined to eliminate this creature, and they have brought very powerful weapons with them. He confirms that they should leave the area. Of course, Hector is very upset by this decision and believes that they shouldn't kill a rare creature in this way, because they can use it in their scientific research. For the first time, Kylie agrees with him on something and sees that he is right, so they try to persuade Jack to give them another chance. Hector tells them that he can preserve the creature and move it to a safe place without any problems. At that point, they will have satisfied all they promised, that all of this will be finished before the army arrives. And in the end, he agrees. With his words, he decides to help them, and they all begin working on his plan. They set new traps for the creature, and at the same time, Hector gets in the plane and uses a dead cow as bait to attract it. The creature grabs his weapons and prepares a tranquilizer gun to strike the monster at the right moment. At the same time, he is ready to kill it if the situation gets out of control. They stay in this situation for a few hours with no new developments. As soon as night falls, a sound begins to appear in the water, and finally, the monster returns. It is attracted to the cow and tries to eat it. Of course, Hector keeps moving the plane, buying as much time as he can and trying to keep the creature away from the lake. He gets to the shore and unfortunately, he has an accident. Finally, the plane crashes into the water, and without thinking, they all try to help him. Luckily for him, he manages to climb onto the plane and sees the monster trying to attack him. He overpowers it, and Hank takes the opportunity and tries to hit the creature with the tranquilizer cur. Because the distance is too far, he can't aim and is forced to dive into the water to get closer. At that moment, the creature senses his presence, changes direction, and tries to attack him. Of course, Hank tries to escape quickly, and for the first time, the monster fully emerges from the water. It appears before them, and they realize it can easily eat them all at once because of its enormous size. They try to escape quickly, and Jack is forced to shoot at him. In the middle of all this, Kylie falls to the ground and gets far away from them. As soon as the monster finds her, it returns to her alone because she is easy prey for it, and it prepares to attack her. At that moment, Kylie doesn't know what to do. Out of fear, she jumps into the water and tries to escape from it, and she is shocked when it finds her chasing it everywhere until it finds a large rock and goes to hide. Of course, the monster gets very distracted and tries to look for her everywhere, so Kylie takes advantage of the opportunity and tries to return to the surface. She finds Hector waiting for her and pulls her back. The plane, and after all this, Hank knows he has to finish off this monster. As soon as the monster jumps onto the plane, they both quickly escape from the other side, trying to save their lives. They take advantage of being close to it and keep shooting it with a lot of tranquilizer darts. They're shocked when it finally loses consciousness and think that's it, but then they're shocked when they find another monster emerging from the water. Hank is forced to finish it off quickly because the situation is getting out of control. Within a few minutes, the army arrives and is shocked to see the crocodile trapped inside the plane. They quickly call for medical assistance and transfer. All the injured are taken to the hospital, and the enormous creature is transferred to the lab for scientific research. Finally, Kylie and Jack decide to get married. Because they truly love each other, they will start their life together, far from all these problems, and forget everything that happened before. In the last scene, we are shocked to see the woman. The old woman herself is sitting by the lake, eating small monsters. We understand that she is raising them and is determined to spread fear among people and protect this species, specifically from the monsters. And that's where our story ends today. Stay tuned for new videos and summaries.